Hey guys, Allison here. Well, today I want to talk about prudence, providence, and presumption because I'm seeing a lot of confusion on that issue lately. First of all, prudence. When we have information that we need to be prepared about certain things or to make good decisions based on prudence, right? That what's the likely outcome? What are the likely consequences? So, for instance, we think in the Bible about the wise virgins, those who brought enough oil to trim their lamps and those who didn't. And when the bridegroom arrived late, the lamps had gone out, and the foolish virgins had to go out and buy oil, and they were shut out of the wedding feast. So obviously that is an analogy about our salvation. We want to be prudent. We want to be prepared. We never know when we're going to meet God, so we always want to be in a state of grace and always be prepared. But even on a practical level, Jesus said something also. He said, how many of you before building a tower would not sit down, calculate how much materials and how much money you need to complete it, or you wouldn't even get started? Well, right now, we are seeing a lot of problems in the world. Disruption in the supply chain. They've told us what the plan is, that there is going to be a food shortage. So I think that we want to be prudent and really have 3 to 4 months of food on hand at all times to be prepared. Now, I've met people who have said, well, no, God's going to provide. And I think about that story, which everybody knows, about the guy who was in the flood and a boat came and he said, no, go ahead, take somebody else, God will save me. And then the water rose to the second floor and he said, another boat came and he refused. He said, no, God will save me. Finally, he's on the roof of his house and a helicopter came and let down the ladder. And he said, no, God is going to save me. And the next thing you know, he's standing before St. Peter. And he says, St. Peter, I think there's a mistake. This is not my time. He said, I really trusted in God would take care of me. So St. Peter said, let me check the records. He said, according to this, we sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. So I think that as we go through these very difficult times, we need to be very prepared and prudently prepared. If you don't have a lot of money, then just buy some of the basics. You can always donate that if you don't need it later on. Okay, so keep that in mind. But I also think that in this craziness that we're dealing with, we have to be very prudent about our salvation, and we need to be making use of the sacraments, making use particularly of confession, and realizing that we need to be focused on where we're headed. All right, that's, I think, another thing that I see is some people yielding to despair right now because it seems like things are never going to get better. And we hear people talking about the Great Reset and their terrible plans for us. And sure, those are the evil plans that are out there. But we do have to trust that God has a greater plan. But in the meantime, we always need to be prepared. But to be prepared in a joyful spirit, because I know we always look at death as very sad because we lose people. But ultimately, we always have to think forward because all of us are going to leave this world at some point. So if we focus our attention on heaven, if we trust in God's providence by being prudent about our salvation, then that takes a lot of the anxiety away. And I mean, anxiety is really epidemic right now. If you're struggling with anxiety, you may need to talk to somebody, and I would encourage you to reach out to a Catholic therapist to help you work that through, to get a handle on it. There are ways to manage anxiety. I mean, the first thing you want to do is turn off the news. I would really encourage you to do that. But if you find that it's interfering in your life, if it's got you stuck, please reach out to a Catholic therapist. We have so many wonderful people on our network, and it is growing. So I think you'll be able to find somebody that can help you. So I hope you find that helpful. Make sure you like and share the video and download our free report, 8 Keys to Emotional and Spiritual Freedom. God bless you.